Most anime live actions are really bad. Yes, a few are okay and even pretty good, but mostly they're terrible. Because most of the live actions that I've watched, they're not well thought, the direction is bad, they change the main characters, and they don't often look so good. It seems like they don't care about the original thing they're adapting. They just think fans will watch anything related to their favorite shows, so they don't put in much effort. Live action means taking an anime or manga and making it into a movie or TV show with real actors. It's like turning their drawings or animations into real life scenes. These adaptations nowadays are quite common. Right now, there are at least 18 of them being made, which is quite a lot, but strangely, not many people seem to like them. If they keep making these live actions the same way, it's unlikely that any of them will turn out to be good. I think the whole process of making the live action is flawed, but can we find a better way to do it? Let's give it a shot. To start, we can distinguish between two types of live actions, the ones with a lot of money to spend and the ones with very little. If you try to turn Full Metal Alchemist into a live action and you mess up the most crucial thing of the show, the alchemy, it's almost certain to fail, even if you get everything else flawless. What I'm trying to say is that if you don't have enough money to create a show properly, it's best not to attempt a live action version. Like, there's no point in making a live action adaptation of something like Attack on Titan if you can't do justice to the Titans. Having a limited budget, I'm not trying to say that don't make a movie altogether, but choose the right thing to adapt to. Don't ask me why, I keep questioning myself too, but I recently watched the live action of Your Lie in April, and I thought it was actually decent. It wasn't anywhere near as good as the manga and anime, but it was still enjoyable to watch. If you're working with a small budget, it's best to choose something as realistic and straightforward as possible. But then there comes the second type of live action adaptation, the ones that have a reasonable amount of money to work with. Those live actions should not turn out as poorly as they often do. However, the most significant problem people seem to have with these live actions is that they alter the story and the characters, making them feel very different from the originals. This is a very sensitive topic for some people, and I understand, but some changes are very necessary. A movie or a TV show needs to tell a complete story, including a beginning, a middle, and an end. Even if there are plans for sequels or more seasons, it doesn't make sense to abruptly stop in the middle of a story arc. For instance, let's consider a random manga Slam Dunk. I agree if a live action movie based on Slam Dunk were ever to be created, I would suggest that a good stopping point would be at the end of volume 9. The challenge is that within those first 9 volumes, there are at least 133 chapters, and it's simply impossible to condense that much content into a 2-hour movie. Of course, that's why it's necessary to make cuts, but it inevitably leads to many other problems. Because you can't just simply excise portions of the story and expect everything to work seamlessly while maintaining the same plot flow and character depth. That's why it's crucial to have someone who takes on the responsibility of adapting the story, because the audience often gets carried away by their affection for the original material and overlooks the true meaning of adaptation, making it suitable for a new use or purpose. An adaptation will obviously have variations from the original work, but that doesn't automatically make it terrible. The perfect illustration of this is the Lord of the Rings movies, which are exceptional, possibly among the finest in the history. These movies, of course, are based on equally exceptional books. However, if you read the books, you'll recognize how various aspects of the plot and characters have been altered or even entirely left out in the film adaptation. It succeeded because Peter Jackson or whoever was responsible demonstrated skill and courage in taking the remarkable story and characters from the books and adapting them efficiently for the big screen. This is a prime example of successful adaptation, something which is lacking in the anime recreations. What's needed is someone who can comprehend the story and characters deeply enough to modify and utilize them in novel ways without losing their essence or making them unrecognizable. Of course, that's another challenge unique to anime and manga adaptations. Take that cringe-worthy scene at the end of live-action Cowboy Bebop, for instance. When it was first released, it became a meme to infinity. However, if you watch the original anime, you would recognize that it's precisely how the character behaves, childlike, loud, and always in motion. The issue here is that such behavior doesn't really translate to live action, because there are no real people in the world who act that way. When you see a real actor doing such exaggerated things for an extended period, it's hard to understand how anyone could have watched that scene and thought it was a perfect demonstration down to the very small details. Anime and manga are incredibly different from TV shows and books, and the rules around them are completely different. The characters in anime are made in a certain way. I know they are very exaggerated, but they are a medium of movement, screams, colors, and I love them for that. But when they are turned into live action, they lose that charm, and it all becomes very cringe. And even if you try to replicate these features in live action, it will only end up distancing the viewers more. For instance, if you compare the live action version of a character to the anime, even if it's a near perfect visual match, the feeling you get from looking at these two versions can be entirely distinct. This character here doesn't come across as realistic. He looks like more a regular guy you'd see at a convention attempting a cosplay. While I understand that the sci-fi has to convey a unique atmosphere, there's just no way you can take this character seriously. However, the most crucial aspect that live action adaptations often get wrong, in my opinion, is something very tangible. Directors are frequently so preoccupied with trying to make a faithful live action version of an anime that they forget to make a compelling movie or TV show in its own right. And it often makes me wonder why live action anime exists at all.
But why?
Because at the end of the day, if you want to read or look at some pictures, you have the manga. And if you want something to look at your screen, the anime provides a great experience. But it's puzzling when some people don't want to give anime a chance. I had a similar experience when I invited my friend to watch some anime with me. He said, and I quote, "I don't watch anime anymore. I used to when I was 10 years old, but I don't like to now."
What the heck?
You're comparing the anime and stories from this point of time to when you were 10 years old. Bruh. I know it's fine, it's not everyone's cup of tea, and I respect your opinion, but I still wish people will discover and appreciate the incredible stories this medium has to offer. Because live action is not an absolute solution if you want to delve into the anime stories. But hey, they're still helpful as a bridge for some newcomers to be introduced to this world of anime. And I think that's the reason they keep getting made. Companies like Netflix or whoever who gets the rights to these series, they recognize that with a core fan base on board, their investment is more likely to be successful. Films like Edge of Tomorrow and Alita have topped the charts because they are good movies in their own right, not just decent adaptations of anime on manga. Many of the people who watch those movies might not even know that it was a manga adaptation. The key here is that talent like Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt in Edge of Tomorrow and the involvement of James Cameron in Alita played a significant role in this success. A successful adaptation needs to be a good movie or TV show in its own right. To truly make a product stand out and capture a broader audience, you must invest your creativity and passion into it. You need a product that shines on its own merits, something that's exceptional because it's genuinely excellent. It's about creating something that transcends its origins and becomes a masterpiece in its own right. Because despite the mixed feelings you and I might have for live action, they actually serve a good purpose. They have the potential to introduce anime and manga to individuals who might otherwise never engage with these mediums. Additionally, it's heartening to see something you're passionate about making the leap to a broader mainstream audience, provided the adaptation is executed well and adapts the source material. You must be wondering why I chose to talk about these anime adaptations. It's because I saw the live action trailer of One Piece, which I think has some real potential. It looks like a lot of the issues I talked about in this video are either absent or at least handled pretty well there. So I can't wait to watch it, but who knows, it might even suck. And seeing that there are still many live actions in the work, who knows, maybe we'll get something better than One Piece even. So that's the end of the video, but do let me know your controversial thoughts and opinions on live action in the comments down below. And subscribe if you want to. I don't know. Bye.